Welcome to the first of many POV breakdowns for the Song of Ice and Fire book series. This video will be about the one and only Melisandre chapter that Martin has given us, which can be found in A Dance with Dragons. So, enough with the intro chit-chat, let's get started.
It was never truly dark in Melisandre's chambers. 3 tallow candles burned upon her windowsill to keep the terrors of the night at bay. In the hearth, a fire was kept burning day and night. The Red Priestess closed her eyes and said a prayer, then opened them once more to face the hearth fire.
So this chapter starts with Melisandre sitting in her room, surrounded by candles and a big fire. We know that the servants of Lawlor, they fear the darkness. It makes sense that they wouldn't allow the room to ever go dark. At this moment, she is looking into her flames, watching the same vision over and over again. Most likely, she has been staring off into the hearth all night, seeing the same thing over and over again.
One more time, she had to be certain. Many a priest and priestess before her had been brought down by false visions, by seeing what they wished to see, instead of what the Lord of Light had sent.
What's happening here is that whatever she is seeing, she isn't 100% sure that it's correct, as she points out that people can see false visions in the flames and has been the downfall of many. It's possible that Melisandre starts to doubt her ability, which is why she keeps checking the flames to make sure that she's seeing what Lawlor actually sent. Melisandre starts thinking about Stannis' marching south, saying to herself that he marches into peril, but she still believes that Stannis is Azor Ahai reborn. She then goes on pleading to Lawlor, asking for a glimpse of Stannis.
"Show me Stannis, Lord," she prayed. "Show me your king, your instrument."
Mel looks into the hearth, and she sees the following.
Visions danced before her. She saw the eyeless faces again, staring out at her from sockets weeping blood. Then the towers by the sea, crumbling as the dark tide came sweeping over them, rising from the depths. Shadows in the shape of skulls, skulls that turned to mist, bodies locked together in lust, writhing and rolling and clawing. Through curtains of fire, great winged shadows wheeled against a hard blue sky.
In this vision, Lawlor hits Mel with a lot of horrific images, so let's go over it piece by piece. This part about the eyeless faces, Mel sees the dead faces of Garth Greyfeather, Harry Hal, and Blackjack Bulwer. These were the dead rangers found later in this chapter. The wildling that calls himself the Weeper caught these men, took off their heads, gouged out their eyes, and stuck them on spears to be placed just outside the wall. Next is the part about the towers by the sea. Since the text specifically says towers and not tower, I assume Mel is seeing Eastwatch by the sea and not the Shadow Tower. The part about the dark tide sweeping over those towers? This could be either a giant wave, like a tidal wave smashing into it, or, more likely, it's a metaphoric wave made out of thousands of wights, all set on overrunning the castle and that entire side of the wall. The latter seems to be the stronger of the two, and here's why. In John 12, A Dance with Dragons, Jon receives a distress message from Cotter Pike. Cotter is stranded at Hardhome and is sending for immediate evac. Now, although Hardhome will be different in the books compared to how it played out in Season 5, we can still assume that Cotter Pike and company were attacked by the others and their dead army. The last thing that Jon reads is that Cotter Pike claims that there are dead things in the woods and dead things in the water. It's possible that the dark tide that is sweeping over them, rising from the depths, is a massive, massive horde of wights rising from the sea and massacring everything at Eastwatch. Another possibility is that the phrase dark tide refers to the Ironborn. If you go back to A Clash of Kings, Jojen tells Bran about his green dream of Winterfell before Theon takes the castle for himself.
"I dreamed that the sea was lapping all round Winterfell. I saw black waves crashing against the gates and towers. Drowned men were floating in the yard."
Since black waves crashing was a connection to Ironborn, black tide came sweeping could mean the same thing. This last part about the skulls turning to mist and fire curtains and winged shadows, this might be a possible battle between the others and the wights versus Dany and her dragons. It's also possible that the reference to skulls and mist could be the Bridge of Skulls, which can be found way over at the westernmost part of the wall, next to Westwatch by the Sea. Curtains of fire and winged shadows, without a doubt, these are dragons, roasting everything in sight during this battle. This also would mean that Dany is now in Westeros, fighting the others. The reason I think there's going to be a battle near Westwatch is this. For starters, now that we've seen all of Season 5 of Game of Thrones, we have more insight as to what will happen in the book version of Hardhome with Cotter Pike. Now, if you want to believe that Eastwatch by the Sea will be attacked, that would mean 2 major defeats would take place all the way to the easternmost parts of the wall. It would make sense for the others to attack the west as well, considering it has only been recently garrisoned by Jon's command.
I must find the girl again, the grey girl on the dying horse.
The girl on the dying horse is Alys Karstark, daughter of Rickard Karstark, who King Robb executed for treason. She arrives at the wall looking for Jon after she runs away from her cousin Cregan Karstark. Cregan's father, Arnulf, plotted to make his son the Lord of Karhold by forcing Alys to marry Cregan.
A face took shape within the hearth. Stannis, she thought, just for a moment. But no, these were not his features. A wooden face, corpse white. Was this the enemy? 1,000 red eyes floated in the rising flames. He sees me. Beside him, a boy with a wolf's face threw back his head and howled.
So she continues to look deep into her flames. Mel is deaf correct when she says that she doesn't see Stannis. The 2 people that she does see are Brandon Rivers, aka Bloodraven, and Bran. By the end of A Dance with Dragons, Bran finds the three-eyed crow, and that would be Brynden Rivers. Now, many readers miss this fact, and most likely it's because they haven't read the Duncan Egg novellas. Brynden Rivers is one of the great bastards who lived about 90 to 110 years before the beginning of the main series. I won't spend a lot of time here discussing him because I'm going to have a bio video just for him. For now, I'll just say that usually when he is spoke of, he usually is followed by this line.
His hair fell to his shoulders, long and white and straight, brushed forward so as to conceal his missing eye, the one that Bittersteel had plucked from him on the red grass field. The eye that remained was very red. How many eyes has Bloodraven? 1,000 eyes and 1.
Since Mel sees a wooden face with 1,000 eyes, we can conclude this is Bloodraven, and the boy that had a wolf's head, this is definitely Brandon Stark. And we'll see what Bloodraven and Bran do to Melisandre in the next part of this POV breakdown.